Moment man in Patriot Prayer had his shot useless in Portland amid clashes with BLM and Trump followers. Disturbing video reveals the second a person carrying a Patriot Prayer baseball cap was shot and killed in Portland as tensions between pro-Trump supporters and Black Lives Matter counter-protesters boiled over. In the footage, recorded by videographer Justin Dunlap, the sufferer seems to be following two different folks down a road earlier than two gunshots ring out and a cloud of smoke erupts on the supply. It stays unclear if the capturing it was linked to fights that broke out as a caravan of about 600 automobiles was confronted by counter-demonstrators within the metropolis's downtown space. Disturbing video reveals the second an unidentified man carrying a Patriot Prayer baseball cap, heart in a black shirt and lightweight shorts, was shot and killed in Portland on Saturday evening. The sufferer is seen collapsed on the street after he tried to stroll away from the one that shot him. Street medics and protesters rushed over to assist the person after he was shot within the chest by an unidentified suspect. Portland police maintain again a person who was with the sufferer of Saturday evening's deadly capturing minutes after the incident. It is essential for detectives get a full and correct image of what occurred earlier than, throughout, and after the capturing, a police assertion stated. Police Chief Chuck Lovell added, "I ask everybody to provide the detectives time to do their essential work earlier than drawing conclusions about what befell." Medics and cops stand over the unidentified man who was shot useless on the street in Portland on Saturday evening. Saturday marked the 95th evening of unrest in Portland because the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. More than 600 automobiles flying Trump flags and banners set off in a convoy round and through town because the solar started to set, after tense scenes at their assembly level and clashes with counter-protesters. It got here as Trump supporters staged comparable gatherings across the nation, with lots of individuals congregating in Los Angeles, Georgia and elsewhere to rejoice their president and rally for his re-election. The White House introduced that Trump is scheduled to go to Kenosha on Tuesday, which many worry may exacerbate tensions within the metropolis. As the convoy of Trump automobiles entered Portland's metropolis heart, supporters sitting at the back of choose-ups used pepper spray on counter-protesters. Eggs had been thrown at their vans and automobiles, and the Trump supporters retaliated by turning paintball weapons on the group, allegedly firing ball bearings. A block away from the scene of the capturing, a black man in a face mask was pictured in an animated dialogue with Joey Gibson, a right-wing political activist and founding father of Patriot Prayer. An offended group of Trump supporters bought out of an automotive and confronted the activist, who was knocked to the bottom. Portland police arrest a protester following a crowd dispersal. Riot police had been out in drive in downtown Portland on Saturday evening because the anticipated clashes materialized. A BLM activist with an orange neck scarf is attacked by a Trump supporter, carrying a black t-shirt and gray shorts. The BLM protester is left mendacity on the bottom following his altercation with the Trump supporters, enraged by his filming them. The Morrison Bridge was the scene of an unsightly battle because the caravan pulled into town, and one Trump supporter drove his truck in direction of protesters on an off-ramp. Two folks sprawled on the bridge, sparking a fast response from Portland police who arrested the pair. As evening fell, the caravan was cruising round city, with what organizers hoped was a present of power to rival the left-wing activists who have largely dominated the earlier 94 nights of protest. Saturday's pro-Trump demonstration was organized on Facebook, and a couple of 500 folks stated they meant to attend. A New York Times reporter on the scene estimated that around 1,000 folks confirmed up at Clackamas Town Center at 4 p.m. "We want to get some fellow American patriots collectively for a Trump 2020 cruise rally to assist our nice president," wrote Alex Kizak, one of many organizers. Trump supporters had been seen driving round and spraying the group with what some claimed had been ball bearings. Supporters of Donald Trump met in Clackamas City Heart on Saturday at 4 p.m. to drive around Portland. The convoy numbered around 600 automobiles, with Trump supporters flying flags as they cruised by means of Portland. The Portland, Oregon, caravan was organized on Facebook, with 2,500 folks desiring to attend. Saturday's rally was meant to comply with the route circling round Portland and avoiding the downtown space, however automobiles diverted. "We're all gonna assist the president in secure method," stated Brandon Beck, who was attending his first Trump rally. A crowd of Black Lives Matter activists turned as much as meet them, waving their placards and interesting intense confrontations. Alex Kizak, one of many organizers of the Portland rally, stated folks shouldn't present their weapons, however concealed carry was tremendous. Counter-protesters and Black Lives Matter supporters confronted the Trump supporters in downtown Portland. Black Lives Matter activists additionally gathered on Saturday in LA, in entrance of City Hall, earlier than marching by means of downtown. Black Lives Matter activists rallied in Los Angeles on Saturday in entrance of City Hall as Beverly Hills noticed pro-Trump gatherings. The BLM activists then marched by means of the streets of downtown Los Angeles. Trump supporters gathered in Beverly Hills, just for scuffles to interrupt out and the rally to be deserted. And outdoors the White House, chaotic scenes unfolded following one other evening of Black Lives Matter protests that noticed police conflict with demonstrators, placing them with rubber bullets and detonating stun grenades, as they moved to filter out crowds. Hundreds of protesters had gathered at Black Lives Matter Plaza to rally towards police brutality and racial injustice. Members of the Metropolitan Police Department had been out in drive as demonstrators marched to the White House chanting, "No cops, no KKK, no fascists." Shortly earlier than midnight, tensions between protesters and regulation enforcement boiled over, as cops in riot gear started charging at crowds to maneuver them out of the realm. Black Lives Matter activists have marched within the Wisconsin metropolis each evening since Blake's capturing final Sunday, with some protests devolving into unrest with harm to buildings and automobiles. But not like final week's demonstrations, most folks on Saturday dispersed from the protest earlier than the 7 p.m. curfew. Kenosha, Wisconsin, Jacob Blake S.R., pictured, gave an impassioned name for altering the system. Trump is ready to go to Kenosha on Tuesday, the White House introduced Saturday.